Buckle up, folks, because things just got real between the United States and China. We're talking about a full-blown trade war. The US slapped a whopping 125% tariff on Chinese goods, and China? Well, they didn't back down. They fired back with matching tariffs of their own. This is a game of economic chicken, and no one's hitting the brakes. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. This is about global power. It's about who gets to call the shots in the 21st century. And right now, the whole world is watching and waiting to see who blinks first. The stakes? They couldn't be higher. This trade war could send shockwaves through the global economy, leaving no one unscathed. So grab your hard hats, everyone, because things are about to get bumpy. This isn't some sudden squabble. This trade war has been brewing for years. Let's rewind to February 2025. The US, citing concerns about fentanyl production, imposed a 20% tariff on certain Chinese chemicals. Fast forward to April. Tensions escalate rapidly. The US hits China with a 34% tariff, citing a massive trade deficit. Then, just days later, they double down, adding a 50% tariff, bringing the total to a staggering 145%. China, refusing to be bullied, retaliates in kind. First, a 34% tariff. Then, they match the US with their own 50% increase. And finally, on April 11th, they drop the hammer, a 125% tariff on all US goods. Trade between the two economic giants has effectively ground to a halt. The message is clear. Neither side is backing down. China isn't mincing words. They're calling out the US for what they see as economic bullying. The Chinese Ministry of Commerce didn't hold back, labeling the US tariffs as a meaningless numbers game, a joke, and straight-up unilateral bullying. No winners in a tariff war, declared Xi Jinping, China's president, in a thinly veiled jab at his US counterpart. He emphasized China's commitment to self-reliance, signaling their resolve to weather this storm. The message is clear. China will not be intimidated. They're prepared to fight fire with fire. The world holds its breath as the trade war escalates. Global stock markets are in free fall. Japan's Nikkei 225 plunged by nearly 3%. Germany's DAX tumbled by 1.7%. And in the US, futures markets are flashing red, predicting a steep decline when trading opens. Investors are running for cover. Gold, the traditional safe haven asset, surged to a record-breaking $3,200 per ounce. The VIX, Wall Street's fear gauge, shot up to levels not seen since the dark days of the COVID-19 pandemic. The US dollar, usually a beacon of stability, is weakening. The Swiss franc, the Japanese yen, and the euro are all gaining ground as investors seek safer harbors. The global economy is teetering on a knife edge. The question on everyone's mind, how bad will it get? So here's the thing, China isn't just playing defense. Nope, they're launching counterattacks on multiple fronts. And yeah, Hollywood, it's definitely feeling the heat. China announced restrictions on US film imports, and that could slash the number of American movies released in the world's second-largest film market from 39 to, well, maybe just 10 or 20. And it's not just about the movies. Chinese citizens are now being warned about the potential dangers of traveling to the USA. Travel advisory was issued, and get this, a specific alert was even put out for students thinking about studying in Ohio. It's a clear message, folks. This trade war isn't only about economics, it's about culture, it's about soft power. And make no mistake, China is playing to win. So, as the trade war between the United States and China rages on, the ripple effects are being felt far beyond just tariffs and trade deficits. The rest of the world is, well, scrambling to adjust. Economies are recalibrating, supply chains are being rerouted, and governments are rethinking their long-term strategies. Xi Jinping, in a pretty strategic move to counter US influence, has launched a full-blown diplomatic offensive. It's not just about trade anymore, it's about shaping the global narrative. He urged the European Union to resist what he called US bullying and to stand with China in supporting global trade. He framed it as a call for multilateralism over unilateral pressure. And, his message actually resonated with some, like Spain's Prime Minister, who expressed a real desire for greater cooperation with China. It's a sign that not everyone is comfortable with the current global power dynamics. An EU-China summit is already on the calendar for July of 2025 in Beijing, and it's expected to be a major moment for redefining trade partnerships and diplomatic priorities. Trade and geopolitical tensions are definitely going to be front and center, but behind the scenes, there's also a battle for influence. Who gets to set the rules of the next global order? Meanwhile, the EU isn't putting all its eggs in one basket. It's hedging its bets, looking east and south, not just west. It's also initiating free trade talks with the United Arab Emirates, an oil-rich, strategically located partner that could open new doors for European markets. This trade war has really exposed the cracks in the global order, revealing just how fragile and interconnected everything truly is. It's pushing countries to either choose sides or start forging brand new alliances that could reshape the balance of power for decades to come. The whole world is watching closely, not just governments and corporations, but everyday people whose lives are directly impacted by these high-level decisions. It's a high-stakes game of diplomacy, and everyone's waiting to see exactly how the pieces will fall. Vietnam, which has been rising fast in the global manufacturing scene, is now caught smack in the middle of the US-China trade war. The United States has accused Vietnam of acting as a kind of backdoor for Chinese goods, with companies allegedly rerouting their products through Vietnam just to dodge those steep US tariffs. In response, Vietnam is cracking down on transshipment, clearly eager to avoid becoming collateral damage in this economic brawl. The US, recognizing Vietnam's efforts, has temporarily delayed a hefty 46% tariff on Vietnamese imports, giving them a 90-day reprieve. Vietnam's situation really highlights the global ripple effects of this trade war. No country is immune. Everyone everywhere is feeling the heat. Around the globe, the world's most powerful leaders are weighing in on the trade war. And their words, well, they reflect just how deep the divisions and anxieties are right now. This isn't just a disagreement over numbers or policy, it's a clash of ideologies, national interests, and economic futures. The rhetoric is heating up and the consequences are rippling far beyond boardrooms and trading floors. Donald Trump, never one to shy away from bold pronouncements, said the US is doing really well on tariffs and even called the whole situation very exciting. He's framed the trade war as a necessary battle to rebalance global trade and protect American jobs, even as critics warn of long-term damage. Meanwhile, Xi Jinping offered a stark contrast, warning that there will be no winners in a tariff war. His message was clear: cooperation, not confrontation, is the only path forward. But behind the scenes, China is also shoring up its economy, preparing for a prolonged standoff. But it's not just the politicians sounding off. Analysts, journalists, and think tanks are dissecting every move, every statement, trying to make sense of where this is all heading. Financial heavyweights are raising red flags too. The markets are jittery and investors are watching every headline with bated breath. Lawrence Fink, CEO of BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, didn't hold back, calling the US the global destabilizer and warning of a looming recession. His comments underscore just how serious the financial world is taking this geopolitical standoff. Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, acknowledged the considerable turbulence shaking the global economy. He emphasized the need for long-term thinking and cautioned against reactionary policies that could deepen the crisis. And Neil Kashkari, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis, pointed to weakening investor confidence in US assets. He noted that uncertainty is the enemy of growth, and right now, uncertainty is everywhere. The message is loud and clear. The stakes couldn't be higher. From Wall Street to Main Street, the ripple effects are being felt in real time. The world is watching, waiting, and honestly bracing for impact. As leaders dig in and economies brace for volatility, one thing is certain: the outcome of this standoff will shape the global order for years to come. The trade war isn't just a headline, it's hitting home right here in America. From small towns to sprawling cities, the ripple effects are being felt in ways that are both visible and deeply personal. Key industries are already feeling the pinch, and the pain, well, it's only getting worse. Factories are shutting down, projects are being delayed, and workers are being laid off. The economic engine that once roared is now sputtering. American farmers, who are already grappling with a ton of challenges, from climate change to rising costs, are staring down the barrel of a full-blown crisis. For many, this isn't just about profit margins, it's about survival. China used to be a major buyer of US agricultural products, but with tariffs climbing, those markets are pretty much drying up. That means crops are going unsold, and storage silos are filling up with nowhere to send the harvest. The auto industry? Yeah, it's in the crosshairs too. From steel to semiconductors, the cost of materials is rising, and that's putting pressure on every link in the production chain. Tesla, the electric car giant, has halted orders for its Model S and X vehicles in China. That's a major blow, considering China is one of the largest EV markets in the world. And back home, US sales have dropped by 9%. Dealerships are seeing fewer customers walk through the doors, and inventories are starting to pile up. Jaguar Land Rover has paused shipments to the US, and Ford's warning that its popular Mustang Mach-E could see price hikes. Consumers are caught in the middle, paying more for fewer choices. And then there's the tech sector, a major engine of the US economy. It thrives on global collaboration and seamless supply chains. It's bracing for impact as well. Companies are rethinking their strategies, delaying product launches, and even relocating operations to avoid tariffs. Tariffs are disrupting supply chains, raising costs, and creating a whole lot of uncertainty for businesses big and small. The longer this drags on, the harder it becomes to plan for the future. At this point, it's clear. The trade war is a lose-lose situation. No one's coming out ahead, and the collateral damage is mounting by the day. It's time for cooler heads to prevail, to find a path to de-escalation before the damage becomes, well, irreparable. Because in the end, cooperation, not conflict, is what drives prosperity.